Hi teachers and learners! Good day! I am Mr. Alvin C., one of the Edtech specialists serving you with happiness. In response to the United Nations Declaration of Paris in 2012 about the open educational resources, the Philippines' basic education is ready to fulfill its promise to make learning accessible and give equal opportunity to every Filipino. This is the birth of the DepEd Commons to bridge the gaps of having adequate available resources with the aid of ICT equipment and infrastructure. The DepEd Commons was a flagship project headed by the Undersecretary for Administration, Alain Del B. Pascual, and Director 4 of the Information and Communication Technology Service, Abram Y.C. Abanil. DepEd Commons serves as an online education delivery platform of the department where learning resources, online review materials, and open educational resources or OERs made by educators are available, easily accessed, and where resources can be modified without having to reprint when such materials necessitate revisions or improvement. In cooperation with the Department of Information and Communication Technology or DICT, National Telecommunication Commissions or NTC, SMART, PLDT, and Globe, we can use the DepEd Commons for free, even without the data load or credits. It's more convenient to learn and study 24/7 in the comfort of your own home. The interface of the system is simple and yet very direct to immediately show the needed materials, which can be downloaded or viewed via a browser. Continuous enhancement and development were catered to showcase the abrupt needs of the end users. With the demands of technology in education, the DepEd Commons became top 4 as the most trending search in Google in year 2020. Aside from that, DepEd Commons ranked number 1 in the most searched topic under the education category in our country in the same year. The DepEd Commons has a total number of 15,190,182 unique users since it was first launched in March 2020. Today, you will see thousands of learning resources in the system to support the blended learning modalities of the department. In addition, the bright future of DepEd Commons will continuously shine as we embark and empower the public school teachers in creating world-class teaching and learning resources such as electronic books or e-books, digital magazine and worksheets, interactive online games, self-developed Android applications, instructional and tutorial video contents, and other emerging technology tools. As a support system in the online modalities, the use of learning management system is taking into shape. The DepEd LMS is an e-learning platform initiated by the ICTS to help and support the teaching and learning process in the controlled online environment. It was created to work concertedly with the DepEd Commons. Amongst the advantages of using the DepEd LMS are as follows. First, it is cost-effective. The courseware allows participants to access it in their own free time and reduces travel expenses, accommodation costs, and professional fees. Learning while watching the instructional aided materials enhances the soft skills of participants by doing the hands-on activity as requirement. In addition, a digital certificate with QR security code is automatically rewarded to a participant once a certain course is accomplished and completed. Second, consistency of training. The delivery and mastery of competencies is consistent since it is centralized, well-organized, and easy to navigate. It delivers a learning curve to all students by supplying a single source for content, course materials, and instruction with variation of activities that will enhance the skills of end users. Third, it easily tracks learners' progress and performance. It has the capability to allow DepEd to easily generate and consolidate training reports in all overall perspective. By utilizing the e-learning courses or online trainings, trainers can easily track goals progress, knowledge gains, and determine who have completed the course or who needs assistance and help. The Department of Education internally developed an in-house learning management system, namely the Professional Development LMS or PDLMS, used for professional growth and capacity building for teacher and non-teaching personnel, which is not limited to public school teachers. It is also available to private school teachers and even college or university professors. On the other hand, the DepEd Regional LMS or DLMS is intended exclusively for public school teachers and students within their regions and divisions to support the blended learning modalities in delivering quality instruction. To learn more and have a feel of ease in using this innovative system, kindly visit commons.deped.gov.ph for DepEd Commons, trainings.deped.gov.ph for DepEd PD LMS, and lms.deped.gov.ph for DepEd Regional LMS. We will continue to innovate and transform the Philippine basic education in its target glory. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, para sa guro. Sulong edukalidad.
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETUlay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETUlay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICT's Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del P. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETUlay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Ayan, so good afternoon everyone and welcome back to our next session in our electronics product assembly and servicing. Dito yan sa ating EPAS. And as you observe, we have TLE extended subject every Friday yan from 1 p.m. to 3:40. At may iba't iba kayong TLE teacher na makakasama na kung saan kayo ay tuturuan ng life skill learning tungkol sa inyong industrial skill or even in your personal skills sa labas at loob ng inyong tahanan. Sa mga online learners na patuloy na sumusuporta, nakikinig at nandiyan, halika at pagsama-samahan natin ang kakaibang leksyon kasama ang inyong gurong tagapayo na laging andito para ikaw ay matuto. So ano pa bang hinihintay natin? Tara at simulan na natin ang ating aralin sa electronic product assembly. By the way, I am your tutor from this session. I am your tutor Robbie sa Electronic Product Assembly sa grade 10. At well, actually, itong topic natin is hindi lang to para sa grade 10, hindi rin para sa grade 9, kundi para sa lahat ng aspiring student na gusto matuto tungkol sa electronics, robotics at iba pang related about technology ay pwede. Lalo-lalo na sa ating mga parents at sa ating mga online learners na gustong matuto. Tara, simulan na natin ang ating paksa. Last time we already done with the PCB etching process wherein gumawa tayo, nag-design tayo, nag-interpret tayo ng schematic diagram ng LED LED blinker na kung saan magpapailaw tayo ng isang component na kung saan commonly nakikita na natin to sa paligid. At hindi lang naman totally sa LED tayo naka-focus. Even sa different sensor katulad ng LDR, yung light dependent resistor, at hindi yung light hindi rin siya katulad ng ibang resistor na nagre-resist ng flow of current. Now, last time we already done with PCB etching. At ano nga ba yung PCB etching? Okay, so before anything else and before I proceed in this definition, let me greet a happy afternoon sa ating mga online learners. Mula sa ating, sa first online learners natin mula kay Emmy, followed by Martin, Elmira, Martin, and Niza. Magkakapareho pala ng mga apelido itong mga to. Kasama rin si Mariza, and then if ever na hindi ko pa po kayo mabate, huwag kayong mag-alala dahil sa mga susunod po nating activity ay mababati ko na kayo. I-compress lang po natin ang time natin kasi ang activity natin is all about soldering iron. Okay, let's go back. What is PCB? When we say PCB, it is all about printed circuit board wherein the different electronic components ay nandoon mismo sa PCB na nagkikreate sila ng mutual connection kung saan ang positive and negative source ng ating circuit ay commonly naglo-loop or nagsicirculate along the circuit. And when we say etching, it is all about the process in it is one of the major steps in chemical processing of subtractive printed circuit board wherein in etching process, tatanggalin natin yung tinatawag nating copper clad. When I say copper clad, yun yung pinaka-tanso or copper sheet na nandito sa ating PCB or printed circuit board. Actually, pinakita ko na sa inyo kung ano yung printed circuit board and hindi na natin masyadong bibigyan emphasize yun. But then, of course, bibigyan din natin ng clarification yung concentration ng ferric chloride at bakit hindi ba pinapadagdagan ni Tutor Robbie yung ng additional water content ang ating ferric chloride. Unang-una, yung concentration instead of 40%, may tendency na bumaba siya from 40% maging 39, 38, depende sa dami ng tubig na ilalagay natin. Last time, kung mapapansin nyo, wala pang 5 minutes, ay mabilis natin natunaw ang ating PCB. Okay, na-design na natin. And if I'm mistaken, natapos na rin natin siyang i-boring wherein nabutasan na natin siya. Ang gagawin na lang natin for this afternoon is maghihinan tayo o mag-solder. Okay, para saan ba yung tinatawag nating ferric chloride? When we say ferric chloride, it is a solution or chemical content na ginagamit natin sa pagtanggal ng copper clad or copper sheet doon sa mismong PCB, which is the solution that commonly used to etch the PCB and it dual remaking as the enhanced for copper, silver, brass, or depende kung ano yung pagtatanggalan natin ng cover. Well, actually, hindi lang naman to para sa copper, even the other metals. Well, actually, I have the experience na meron ako mga estudyante na naglagay ng ferric chloride do sa lalagyan ng leche plan, yung tinatawag natin llanera. And unfortunately, nakita namin lahat na bakit nga ba umuusok tong aluminum. Well, actually, aluminum is one of the conductor or semiconductor na talagang maaari matuna with the use of ferric chloride. Okay? At the same time, itong ferric chloride na to, yung concentration niya is para din siyang silver cleaner. Na syempre, alam naman natin, pag silver cleaner, lason din siya may i-consider. Now, ito yung pinaka-schematic diagram natin and if I'm not mistaken, natapos na natin itong interpret. Kinakailangan lang natin ng mga sumusunod katulad ng dalawang LEDs or blinker LED followed by 4 na resistor na may value na 1 kilo ohms or 5 kilo ohms. Tigda-dalawa yan and then we have the 220 microfarad. So ano yung microfarad na tinutukoy natin? That is the capacitance of electrolytic capacitor and as well as we have the transistor na merong BC547 value or code. Ano nga ba ibig sabihin ng code na yan? Mamaya malalaman nyo kung para saan ba yan. So review lang din tayo sa dalawang types ng transistor. We have 2 types of transistor. The first one is negative, positive transistor and the positive, negative transistor. Wherein makikita nyo naman doon sa arrow ng dalawang resistor na nakabilog dyan, pag nakalabas na daw yung arrow, ibig sabihin, that is negative, negative, positive, negative. Ibig sabihin, napasok na ng current. Pero pagdating naman sa arrow na papasok, ibig sabihin papasok pa lang o pumapasok pa lang ang electrical current do sa mismong circuit. Okay, ito yung process na natapos na natin. We have the ferric chloride, nakapag-design tayo, then binaban natin for about 5 minutes or less than 5 minutes, depende sa concentration ng ating ferric chloride. At the same time, after several minutes or seconds, depende kasi kung paano natin siya binabantayan or yung taas ng concentration ng ating ferric chloride, ayan, matatapos na natin yung pinaka-product doon sa ikatlong larawan. Next, balikan natin ulit tong diagram na to. Paulit-ulit kong sasabihin sa inyo kung anong nakalagay sa diagram na to, kung ano yung magkakakonekta sa ibabaw. In one line diagram, you will notice that there's a different electronic component together na nakakonekta sa ibig sabihin nasa isang linya lang daw sila. So meaning to say from LED 1 going to LED 2, ibig sabihin magkakonekta sila sa positive terminal natin or yung positive source na meron 3.7 to 9 volts. Followed by we have 1K, 5K na 4 na piraso na yung first terminal nila ay magkakasama din, which is later on makikita niyo yung kung paano ididikit ni Tutor Robbie with the help of our soldering iron. Followed by, of course, pagdating naman sa baba, you will notice na meron ng mga paths. Okay, para saan ba yung mga ways na yan? Unang-una muna, hindi sa lahat ng pagkakataon, lahat ng electronic components ay magkakasama. Para magkakaibigan, hindi porket na magkakasama na yung isang paa sa kaliwa, ay magkakasama naman yung sa kanan. May particular use yung bawat terminals or yung bawat electronic components. Now, proceed na tayo doon sa tinatawag nating soldering technique and soldering iron. Pero let me discuss it first. Ano nga ba yung soldering iron? At bakit ba natin siya kailangan i-discuss? Okay, so before anything else, while waiting do sa ating susunod na PowerPoint, let me give you a little bit of information sa ating lahat na before you engage in this activity, kinakailangan nyo muna ng inyong parents or guardian to guide you to avoid or prevent unnecessary incident. Kasi this activity would engage sa hindi inaasahang aksidente. Lahat naman tayo gusto natin matuto, but then syempre kailangan pa rin natin ng guide ng bawat isa. Okay, now, tapos na tayo dito. Ayan, didiscuss ko muna to. Wala muna tayong activity dyan. But let me discuss what is the soldering iron. Although we already done with this topic, kung hindi ako nagkakamali yung una nating meeting, pero i-discuss ko lang kung ano nga ba yung soldering iron at bakit ba natin siya kinakailangan gamitin. First, what is soldering and when should use it? Okay, when we say soldering, it is a process in which two or more metal items are joined together by melting and then flowing filler metal. Yung filler metal na tinatawag natin, yung metal or lead na madaling matunaw with the help of heat energy. Okay, now, another meaning of soldering is it is used to form permanent connection between electronic components. Wow! Buti pa ang soldering may permanent connection. Unlike yung other relation, walang permanence. So, kidding aside, let us, may papuso pa doon. Okay, charot lang yun. Okay, the metal to be soldered is heated with the soldering iron and the solder is melted into the connection. So, meaning to say, only the solder melts, not the parts that are being soldered. So, what does it mean? Yung pinakamatutunaw lang na part ng LED ang magdidikit do sa mismong terminal o yung sa paa ng component natin. Pero hindi mismo yung component ang tutunawin natin. Tama kayo na narinig. Kadalasan nagkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag na misunderstanding with the word terminal or lead. Minsan, mayroong mga estudyante na instead of lead or yung tinatawag natin yung mababa yung melting point, kadalasan ng ginagawa ng mga bata, lalo sa mga estudyante ko, kumukuha sila ng alambre, or yung tinatawag nating galvanized iron. So meaning to say, itong galvanized iron na to ay hindi talaga matutunaw ng ating 30 to 45 watts na soldering iron. Even umabot pa siya ng 60 ay hindi siya matutunaw, hindi siya kayang matunaw nito. Next, solder. It is a metallic glue. So when we say solder, it is a metallic glue wherein we will going to consider it as a glue. Okay, parang ganito. Meron tayong papel na pinagdidikit. So meaning to say with the help of our paste glue or glue, okay, it could hold the two papers in one part. Okay, so magka-create sila ng connection or magdidikit sila. So sa madaling sabi, sa solder, the metallic glue can hold the parts together and form a connection that allow electrical current to flow. Now, what are the materials that we need to use? Okay, or needed. So here are the materials and equipment that we should need during our activity. First, soldering iron. Actually, ayun na. Mamaya papakita ko na po sa inyo. Gagamit ako ng another camera ulit. So soldering iron is used to heat the connection to be soldered. Then for electronic circuit, you should have your soldering iron for about 25 to 40 watts. Okay, so kadalasan ang pinapagamit ko talaga sa mga estudyante para mas madaling magamit is yung 40 or 45 watts kasi hindi siya ganun kalakas, hindi rin siya ganun kahina, sakto lang. Okay, parang Coke, sakto. Okay, next. What is a tip to our soldering iron? First, higher wattage, soldering iron, mas madali siyang minute, pero not necessarily na kinakailangan niya mag-retain doon sa mismong component or else mag-engage si electronic components sa tinatawag nating ano bang tawag doon? Overheat. And once the electronic component engage in overheat, definitely magkakaroon na siya ng tinatawag nating malfunction or masisira na siya. Now, next, hindi ko na i-discuss siguro yung parts ng soldering iron kasi we already know with this, no? Doon na lang tayo siguro sa ating activity. Siguro magpapakita lang ako ng 2 to 3 na sample o different types ng soldering paste o yung itsura na mismong output ng ating pagsa-soldering. Then afterwards, we will going back to our review with the different parts of the soldering iron. Okay? Sabi ko na ba, hindi nakita eh. Okay, so proceed lang ako dito sa ating activity. Gagamit pala ako netong next camera. Sa ating mga online learners po, pwede kayong gumamit ng inyong sariling electronic components. Pwede kayong gumamit ng sarili nyong... Teka lang. Yan, para walang siyang echo or sound. Okay, pwede kayong gumamit ng sarili nyong soldering iron. Then afterwards, pwede niyo nang i-ask ng assistant yung inyong mga parents. Okay. Hopefully nakikita ang ating camera at ito lang talaga ang pinaka-ihuli ko. This one. Paano ko kaya ito mapapalaki? Wait. Yan. Hopefully sa mga online learners natin, nakikita natin yung laki nitong. Yan. So, syempre mawawala ako bigla kasi lilipat lang ako ng lamesa kung saan mas malapit doon yung aking gamit. Pero syempre, ipapakita ko rin ang ating slides kung saan ito yung talagang dapat natin sundin. Itong schematic diagram. Okay? Ayan. Kung mapapansin niya, medyo malabo. So, pupunta na si Tutor Robby dito. Ayan. Yan, sa online learners natin na nandyan, makikita po ba kung paano gagamitin ni Tutor Robby ito? So before anything else, kinakailangan nyo muna gumamit ng face mask para hindi nyo malanghap ang tinatawag nating lead. So ito yung mga materials na kakailanganin natin. We have soldering pad, just in case na magkamali tayo, pwede natin siya ulitin. We have soldering stand, kung saan if ever na hindi natin ginagamit ang soldering iron, is po pwede natin dyan yung ilagay. At ito yung tinatawag ko, metallic glue, na tinatawag nating lead. So ito yung delikado. For sure, ito yung dapat nating output na matapos. Okay? So, ayun, medyo nalalamig ako dito. Ayan. Sa mga online learners natin, once again, ang soldering iron ay hindi laruan. Hindi natin po pwede itong hawak-hawakan sa dulo once na uminit na at na-engage na natin to sa ating activity. Hopefully, natuyo na to kasi actually nabasa ito. Tingnan ko, baka masapa. Yan. So maya-maya ay iinin na to. Yan. Kung mapapansin nyo, ito yung mga gagamitin natin mamaya. Yan, medyo parang may naririnig tayo, parang siyang kumukulo. Natural lang na umusok siya kasi nga, nabasa siya. Tapos, nabasa siya din, kinakailangan niya muna matuyo. Ayan. Tingnan lang natin kung paano siya iinit. Yung gagawin ni Tutor Robby, huwag yung gagawin na. Tinatouch lang ni Tutor to para malaman ko umiinit na ba yung dulo at yung parts. Ayan. Parang may something, may alcohol content to Ayan. By the way, with this regards, balik lang ako doon sa ating soldering kasi medyo hindi pa pala siya natutuyo kasi actually, online learners medyo nabasa siya. So, proceed lang muna ako sa parts ng ating soldering. Ayan. Proceed lang ako sa ating parts ng ating soldering. Medyo kinakailangan ko muna patuyuin saglit yon. Medyo mas baka ma-engage tayo sa hindi inaasahang insidente. So, ayun. Ayan. So, balikan ko lang tong ating soldering part. Ayan. Balikan ko lang itong soldering part natin. So, ano nga ba yung parts ng soldering iron? The soldering part iron has a different in size, power, and features. So when we say different in size, meron tayong mga soldering iron na malalaki, maliliit, or even the tips. And pag sinabi naman natin power, so yung tinatawag natin wattages. So ano nga ba yung wattages na tinatawag natin? May mga soldering iron tayo na nasa 25 watts lang, 30 watts, 45 watts, up to 60 watts. So ano nga ba yung mas magandang wattage na po pwede natin gamitin doon? So, unang-una, syempre, depende sa paggagamitan natin, okay? But most have the same basic parts is usually the base, the core, the handle, and heating elements and its tips. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? So, ang ibig sabihin lang nun, commonly sa ating mga soldering iron ay may handle or plastic handle siya, may heating elements, and of course, meron din siyang tips sa dulo. Ano ba yung tip na tinutukoy natin? When we say tips, ibig sabihin, yun yung nguso o yung dulo. Okay, the first parts na makikita nyo dito is yung tinatawag natin base. And when we say base, base is a soldering irons with an automatic heat control, or it could be a handle, or it could be the stands of your soldering iron that commonly used in soldering processes. Okay, next would be this one, the cord. So, ano nga ba ibig sabihin ng cord? When we say cord, it is an electric soldering iron that commonly use a power cord to transfer to deliver the electric current into our source. So, ibig sabihin, hindi pala si voltage yung nagpapainit kay soldering iron, kundi sa electric current. Tama. Did you still remember yung topic natin sa Ohm's Law, the relationship between resistance, voltage, and current? So meaning to say, hindi talaga gumagalaw sa tatlong yun ay si electric current, where is si potential difference, so yung tinatawag natin voltage, siya yung tumutulak doon sa mismong electric current, okay, to execute another form of energy. It depends upon the loads or your loads. Yung pagdadaluyan ni electric current, it could be your ilaw, motors, or a mechanical machine. Depende kasi kung ano yung paggagamitan or pagdadaanan ni electric current. And of course, we have the handles. Like what I said a while ago, handle could be vary in size. Okay, it could be in materials kasi meron tayong plastic, wood, or depende kung ano yung paggagamitan. May fiber handle pa nga na ginagamit na eh. Pero syempre, common sa ginagamit natin is yung plastics. Okay? Now, we have heating elements. Ito yung isa sa pinakamahalagang parts ng ating soldering iron, the heating elements. Because the heating elements is usually rated in watts, and it must heat the tips sufficiently to melt the solder. So, anong ibig sabihin nun? If ever your tip or the soldering tip is hindi uminit ng tama based on the heating point, hindi ka makakapagpatunaw or hindi mo ka makakapag-engage sa activity. Kanina kasi, kaya ako agad tinanggal yung saksak, umuusok yung ating soldering iron. Although, safe naman talaga siya kasi nga, heating elements ang ginagamit natin, pero syempre, hindi sanay si Tutor Robbie na makakita ng ganong usok. So, iiwasan muna natin siya. But you don't have to worry. Maybe sa ating link, isasend ko sa ating link yung downloadable video na gagawin ni Tutor Robbie siguro mamaya, or even ipopost natin sa ating official page sa Edtech Unit na kung saan mamahari nyo na mapanood yung ating recorded video about sa soldering processes para sa gayon malaman nyo kung paano ba talaga nagsa-soldering. Now, ito yung tip na tinutukoy ko. The soldering tip comes in many sizes or in sheets. Okay, from pinpoint for precision soldering, it could be wider or larger. Depende kasi kung ano yung wattage or the materials na ng inyong soldering iron. Kaya kung mapapansin nyo, minsan meron kayong makikita na napakalaking soldering iron na mas malaki ba sa braso ni Tutor Robbie or even in your arm na halos kasing laki na halos ng hotdog yung parts or yung katawan. Okay? Next. Ito yung nilalaman or the basic parts of our soldering iron. We have nuts, teeth, nipple, grounding spring, cores, heating elements, and others. So usually itong mga parts na to ay makikita sa ating actual picture. Ito yung pinaka-picture natin ating soldering iron. We have handle and nipple, tip and barrel, tip and enclosure. Okay, when we say enclosure, yun yung pinakatakip ng ating heating elements. And of course, we have heating elements or yung tinatawag natin ceramic heater, yung kulay puti na to, medyo malabo yata. Okay. Yan. Next, we have Yan. We have terminal board. When we say terminal board, nandun yung pinaka-wirings or yung wires. And of course, we have cord assembly or yung power cord. Doon naman sa taas, yung nipple, yan naman yung pinaka-nuts o yung lock na tinatawag natin. But commonly, tinatawag natin talaga siya pagdating sa soldering iron as nipple. Now, doon naman sa tip, we have 3 layers. Meron siyang chromium plating, meron tayong iron plating, and of course, we have copper core plating. Ibig sabihin, may 3-layer pa pala si soldering tip na kung saan doon muna dumadaloy si heat kay copper bago lumabas kay chromium plate, bago lumabas sa tip o yung tinatawag nating iron. Now, paano ba nagme-maintenance ng tinatawag nating soldering tip? Unang-una, hindi siya nililiha. Yan yung number 1. Hindi siya nililiha, hindi siya pa pwedeng gamitan ng scissors o kung anumang sharp materials kung saan magagasgasan at matatanggal yung chromium plate. Kasi pag natanggal yung chromium plate, automatically, yung mga electronic components ay maaaring mas mabilis siya masunog or worse, masunog agad yung pinaka-parts niya kasi hindi niya na kagad na hindi agad siya na what they call this one, hindi kagad na poprotektahan yung mismong katawan. Next, we have the stand or soldering stand on which it holds the hot soldering iron. Yun yung pinakita ko kanina sa inyo. If ever na hindi natin ginagamit yung soldering iron, we can use the soldering stand. Okay? There are variety of stands available. It is important to always keep the hot iron in the stand when not in use, or else there would be a chance na even though na aware ka na, okay, sanay ka na, hindi mo mapapansin na because of your activity, because of your business, with regards in your in electronic activity, there will be a chance na magkamali tayo ng paghawak. Okay, so mas mainam na yung nasa safe place siya. Pag once na idle siya, ilagay lang natin siya dito sa tinatawag nating soldering stand, followed by sa ganitong uri ng stand, yung parang nilalagyan ng katol. If you're familiar with the katol, yung pagtanggal ng langaw, pwede natin siyang gamitin. And usually, gumagamit ako ng sponge. And para saan ba yung sponge? Well, actually, the sponge is commonly used to dump the sponge and used to clean your soldering tip. Okay, so meaning to say, this dump sponge is nilalagyan siya ng tubig at doon natin ipupunas yung tinatawag natin soldering iron. Now, rosin core yung tinatawag natin soldering leads. Okay, solder has a lower melting point than the metals that are being connected to. The solder melts when it's heated by the soldering iron, but the metals being joined will not melt. So, anong ibig sabihin ng process ng soldering lead na yan? So, meaning to say, it would serve as our flux or pandikit na usually matutunan mo na siya for a period of time. Okay, for example, in a milliseconds, bilang ka na ng 1, tuyo na siya. Okay, so iiwasan lang natin na mababad yung pagtunaw ng tinatawag natin LED. Actually, papakita ko naman siya mamaya. Okay, now ano ba yung mga sizes ng ating LED? We have the exact diameter of our LED for about 0.75 millimeters up to 1 millimeters. So, ibig sabihin, mas manipis, mas mabilis matunaw. Okay, mas makapal, mas kinakailangan niya na mas mataas na wattage para matunaw o maluto ng tama. Okay, now, let us proceed with solder paste. So when we say solder paste, it is essential powder or a paste that's suspended in thick medium cold blocks. So it could use as our temporary adhesive to hold the components until the soldering process melt in solder. So ano ba yung ibig sabihin nun? Okay, with the help of this solder paste, pwede siyang maging adhesive ng inyong pagsa-soldering so that if ever na hindi pa talaga na hindi sa processing, ito yung mag-serve as kanyang solder paste. Itatap nyo lang, is either itatap nyo yung pinaka-tip nung soldering iron nyo or ilalagay nyo yung mismong solder paste doon sa mismong circuit. You don't have to worry kasi ito naman ay insulated material. So hindi magkakaroon ng conductors or conducting process doon sa mismong circuit. Next would be the soldering pump or yung tinatawag natin soldering pump. So ibig sabihin ng soldering pump, dalawa lang yan. If ever na magkakamali ka o magpapalit ka ng electronic components, pwede mong gamitin yung soldering pump para tanggalin yung mga old melted lead o yung natunaw mo ng lead. Then you can use this solder sucker para ma-remove yung mga or ma-remove yung palitan yung components. Okay? Usually, pwede natin siyang i-relate sa vacuum pump. If you're familiar with the vacuum pump or yung vacuum, yun yung pinaka-use nun. Next, ito yung itsura niya. Ayan, kanina pinakita ko naman yung itsura ng soldering pump. Ayan. Next, ito yung activity na pinakita ko last time sa inyo na kung paano ba tayo mag-engage sa paggamit ng PCB. First and foremost, you need to analyze yung do and don'ts sa paggamit ng PCB. Huwag masyadong ang gigil sa paglilinis ng PCB. Hindi porket malinis ka sa katawan, ligtas ka na. Tandaan na kinakailangan nyo pa rin na kinakailangan nyo pa rin ayusin yung Ayan. Wait lang, parang nalobat yata ako. Pero sige, bilisan ko na lang. Madali na lang ito. Ayan. Look at the girl. You will notice the girl, paano niyang hawakan niya ng soldering iron. Ayan. Ganyan ba ang paggamit ng soldering iron? And paalala lang sa ating mga online learners na ang paggamit ng soldering iron ay hindi basta-basta. Kaya, ayan, wag na natin hawakan sa dulo. And with that, of course, ganito dapat kalinis if ever na gusto nyo ma-engage sa ganitong gagandang mga output. Ayan. So, ayan. Ayan. I think wait lang.
Alright, so sa ating mga online learners ay muling magbabalik si Tutor Roby sa susunod na linggo kung saan kayo ay tuturuan ng mga iba't ibang techniques para sa soldering ninyo na activity. So, ingat kayo palagi, stay strong and healthy mga bata. God bless everyone.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETUlay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan sa Lunes mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETUlay free online tutorial session sa Science. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETUlay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!